live.
We're like,
Oh,
sorry, yeah.
I'm just ready.
So, welcome everyone to the public hearing. I think this public hearing is a little different than most public hearings. But what you're here for today, we're talking about the next round of community development block grant. So we'll take public input on some of the things, that we can or cannot apply for, and I want to turn it over to Lori Fisher with South Central Development District.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out or any day. So like Philip said, the point of this meeting is to give information about the community development block grant. This is a grant that's been around since the early 80s. It's HUD money, housing and urban development money, federal money that comes to the state of Tennessee. State of Tennessee, once a year, puts a grant out on a competitive basis. So every city and every county, only incorporated cities and counties are eligible to apply for this grant. You can only have one grant at a time, and you can only apply for one project. So right now, the city of Mount Pleasant has a block grant for, is it
Water.
water rehab.
Sorry.
And to be eligible, they have to have that project finished by the end of the month. I just talked to the engineer. He indicated that they're supposed to be done, supposed to finish up next week if the weather permits. So that makes Mount Pleasant eligible to apply for a grant. Mount Pleasant has historically applied for this grant almost every other year. The county has been generous and applied on Mount Pleasant's behalf in the past to upgrade your Mount Pleasant's utilities. And historically, that's kind of how Mount Pleasant has spent their money that they've gotten. The whole purpose of the block grant is to serve low to moderate income people. If the project doesn't serve low to moderate income people, it's not eligible. If you look at the census data for the city of Mount Pleasant, the most recent census data, it was what, Margarita?
64.
It was like 64% low to moderate income. Anyway, good. Anyway, it's good for your grant application. Maybe not so good.
64.
64. So, but the good part about that, city staff, is that we don't have to do an income survey, because there have been times in the past where census data shows that you're less than 51%. Then you have to counter the census data, and you have to do an income survey, which is very laborious and time consuming. So you're lucky that you have a census that says that 51% of the people in Mount Pleasant are low to moderate income. Now, the maximum grant you can receive is $1 million for construction projects, $650,000 for equipment. And having said that, these are competitive grants, and one of the things they look at is your cost per person. They want to serve the most people with the least amount of money. So even though you're eligible for $1 million, to be more competitive, Mount Pleasant usually applies for less. Usually somewhere around 600, 700,000. That gets our cost per person down. So you're going to be competing against towns like Columbia and Lawrenceburg, who have a much greater population than you do. Now, the eligible categories are water, and you can apply for water rehab, which you have now. If you apply for water rehab, you have to either show that you have a high percentage of water loss, or that you have low residential water pressure, which is less than 20 pounds per pressure. PSI, pounds per square inch. You know that better than me. And then you can apply for like a water storage tank. Water storage tank, though, you have to have less than 24 hours of storage capacity. You can apply for your water treatment plant. You all have gotten grant money in the past when you did your Honey water treatment plant. I think you got almost $1 million for that project. And you can apply for source development. So if your water source, which I think you all get your water from a spring, is that correct?
Yes.
If there's something you wanted to do to enhance that spring or dig a well or something like that, that's an eligible category, but you have to show that what you're doing, first of all, that you don't have enough capacity from your source, and what you're going to do is going to increase that capacity. Then there's sewer. You all have gotten several grants through the county and yourself, and they've been really good and really assertive in going after this grant money for your whole wastewater treatment plant. That's a huge project. Looks great. Had the ribbon cutting the other day. That was really nice. So on sewer, you can do sewer rehab, which is you have to reduce infiltration and inflow into your sewer system. Everybody has that problem. A lot of people apply for that. You can apply for your wastewater treatment plant, but you just do it anyway. And that's about it on sewer. Or you can do a sewer line extension if there were any areas in the city that doesn't have sewer, which I don't know if that's really the case anymore. We did one a long time ago, kind of across the rail tracks. There was one street that didn't have sewer, and we extended the sewer line to them. Now, the other category is kind of a catch-all, and it's called community livability or community revitalization. So on this one, it's, of course, whatever you do is to improve the health and safety of low and moderate income people. So you can apply for things like weather sirens. You know, Columbia applied for that one time. I did one for Loretta and St. Joseph. You can apply for fire trucks if you have an ISO rating of like an 8, 9, or 10, which is usually, what is y'all?
3.
Yeah, y'all got,
Punished for being good.
that's really, oh, that's our used to be hard. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, y'all have to
So if you're bad, you can apply for a grant.
if you're bad, and what they usually do are just rural volunteer fire department. They penalize you for being good.
Good rating. We'll take our.
And you can do street. You can pave streets with it. They used to not do streets, but they do streets now. If you have city streets, you can't do state highway, can't do county roads. It has to be a city street. It has to be in bad repair. It has to be Yeah, so that's an eligible category. I have to say though, unfortunately, about $800,000 doesn't get you as much as you would think.
Less than a mile.
I don't know what it is, but I know I've done some in some towns, and they thought they could do the whole town. It's nothing like that. You can do drainage improvements if you have some areas that are flooding. Anything that improves the health and safety of low and moderate income people that's publicly owned. We can't do anything privately owned buildings. Sidewalks improvements also, but yeah, coming up. But if there's some areas coming to the downtown, the sidewalks that need to be replaced or enhanced, that's eligible also. But the point of this meeting is just to hear suggestions. And when the decision won't be made, the city will have to go back and look at the projects that are suggested. And you need to apply for the project that has the best chance of getting funded. Because the application is a laborious process. You don't want to apply for a project that doesn't have a reasonable chance of getting funded. But the very first step in applying for a block grant is to have the public meeting, to hear community input, then to weigh each project and try to come up with a good application. Applications are due on March the 20th. But they don't fund them till it's usually September. Yeah, it's a long. It is. Staff will look at the project and rate the project for like 3 months, and then it ends up on the governor's desk and it stays there. And this being an election year, we really don't. But anyway, so having said all of that, why don't we open the floor for suggestions? Margarita works with me, and she's gonna help Rob down, and you're gonna.
I do have the sign-in sheet going around, so
Oh, yeah.
everybody can, if you pass it along to the next person, just make sure everybody gets a sign-in, because I think that goes with your grandchild.
Does anybody mind having their picture taken? 'Cause at the development district, we have a new boss, and he really.
He does.
And he's really about social media, so he's like, take pictures, take pictures. Okay, so anybody have a suggestion? Yes, ma'am?
You mentioned the sewer line.
Mhm.
It's my understanding that Tulip Street, lane ran out before they got to Tulip Street, and those people on Tulip Street do not have sewer at this time.
Are they in the city limits?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. About how many houses did you say?
Maybe 10 to 15, so
Okay.
it's hard even a sewer thing.
So I'm kind of on the spot a little bit. I had to look into a little bit of that through the history. I think it was run, but the laterals are actually run, but I think there's some rock issue. So some are on septic, some are because of rock. But good suggestion. Look at it, but I'd like to look a little deeper.
Okay, so let's look at that.
Do you want me to just take the suggestions on the projects down, or the people who gave the suggestion to?
We just need to list of the
List of
suggestions.
Okay,
And you said there, how many houses again?
I would say 10, 15.
Around 10, 15 houses, and they're on septic tank now?
Some of them, some.
Some are, some aren't.
One lady said I'm saying we have the sewer. But very, very expensive.
Got it. Okay, good suggestion. Anyone else? Got one? Yeah, a lot of people think,
Well, we're in the city limits and don't have sewer,
but you
I
don't.
won't deal with that.
Yeah, I bet.
Considering they want $6,000 to hook up sewer.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really talk about sewer. Y'all got more on sewer.
I just meant, oh, you back there.
Question, you mentioned drainage improvements, so with the stormwater situation, would that be eligible for this, and or is there already some type of funding mechanism that this might clash with?
So we're looking at setting up a sewer, stormwater utility.
Mhm.
So we're in the engineering and all that right now.
So to try to answer your question, and you kind of probably already know, we're gonna talk about it tonight, by the way, too, is like we're in the middle of the creation of possibly a utility. We understand what we have to do, or we understand the problems, but this is like a 2-year period. So trying to grant funding, and then we're not even into design on anything. We just have an understanding of what needs to be done. So
But it is something to think about in the future, once you get your design, a way to
Yeah.
implement
We
it.
could use it for some other project. Yeah.
that was,
Would that equipment, bonus be in addition to the 1 million? Okay, so it would be tied into that, okay.
Yeah, one or the other. Like if you buy one of the fire trucks, 600.
So- if it's okay, just for example, one of the thought processes moving forward through the strategic plan is Halong. Oh, we've ever heard about Halong, right? Well, we've not started that process. So hopefully through the budget process, we start that. So understanding that the water, the sewer, the drainage, the sidewalks, all needs to be replaced. Well, that's a multi-year, multi-phase, and some of the funding mechanisms maybe next time on CDBG is sewer, water, county, utility, possibly, possibly, and then of course general fund for the street paving. So over a multi-phase period, funding mechanism. So I think that's a good funding opportunity next time, the 2-year cycle, because we would understand more of the design part of it.
I have one more follow-up, if it's okay. I would be interested in hearing Mr. Groom's, like, what he's interested in with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us, I think that, because I trust his
I
judgment.
appreciate that.
And I think that
Why
would
did
be
you
good.
for us?
We do all the paperwork.
Yeah, what does the city think?
Without a doubt, a fire truck. No. So to be the truthful, honest answer is Sheep Neck Pump Station. It's 40 years old. We got 300 customers on it. We're not allowing any more touts because of how old that pump station is. It's probably $1 million and a half project that does benefit over 300 customers, and we haven't even started. We understand, but it's the funding mechanism of it. So that would be what, from our perspective, Sheep Neck Pump
Keep this in
Station.
mind, if it's, you have water customers outside the city, right?
Yep.
We do.
You'll have to survey the people outside the city.
Probably worth it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
With that, we need that.
Okay. Do you have any idea how much something like that costs?
$1 million to $1.5 million.
So you're gonna have to put in more than the required match.
Yeah.
How many water connections do y'all have?
Total,
Mhm.
citywide,
Mhm.
$27.95
Fluctuates.
every month. I look at them every month. It's $27.95, I believe.
What percentage of the people are of your water customers are outside the city limits?
Ooh, got that. I'll have to pull that before.
I mean, it's roughly, is it 25%?
Um,
Yeah. I can pull
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Let me get my laptop. If you, I mean, I can grab my laptop.
We'll have, well,
about 1,000.
and would that be about 50? Third?
And that's, I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but just,
I'm just thinking logistics. You wouldn't have to survey the inside the city limits, but that, we'll have to find the number of people outside and you'll have to do.
So everybody who's in that section has their own rate structures and stuff too, so we would be able to track like the ones that we needed to service section. We could do that. I mean, we have routes and all that information. in the
Yeah,
Public
but
Works Department.
You need to get your cost per person down.
Okay.
You need to say your benefit.
We need more people to be serviced by a project. I do see that to get approved.
Mhm.
Because yeah, usually, like you said, historically, all of our projects that have been approved are projects that have been at the plant level. So it helps all of our customer
Everybody,
base.
yeah.
Most of our projects with water and sewer are at the plant level.
Mhm.
That's a good point. I wrote it down. I wrote down sheet metal pump station.
Station that come from a plant level perspective though.
I mean, it all comes from the water plant, but it goes to
Yeah, I'm saying.
pumps to sheet neck and that whole enterprise area, storage tank,
So what problem are we solving? by doing this project?
reliability.
Yeah, and what are they looking at? Water loss, pressure?
All of it.
Now, pressure would be part of this, yeah.
Yeah. And if it
There's a
ain't
pump
pumping water,
station.
you have a water line.
Pressure is probably the problem with that. That's why we
Yeah.
can't more taps, because
Yeah.
200,000 gallon tank will drain quickly on that pressure, but we've got to pump it to serve those 300 plus customers. And they're, I can't even date how long that's been there.
Do you have anything from the state saying you can't hook on more people in that area?
Engineering.
So, yes, sir.
Does that affect the grant money at all, like, if you don't have, if you're not providing water to the people already in the city limits of Mount Pleasant, and you go outside, does that affect the grant at all?
Do you have people in the city that don't have access to water?
We get our water from, a lot of people get the water from Flint.
The one on the
Oh,
north
but you
side.
have water.
Yeah.
Yes, they have, but it's water, it's north.
It comes from.
But I'm just wondering, if does that affect? Okay.
What I want to talk about is I've been trying to get this ever since Bob Murray. I think I'm big on communication. We got a communications committee that started back when Bob's Shackelford was the mayor. And they meet and bring up things to the city, producing to the city, you know, I've been on it before. But anyway, I think is we got a $3 million building sitting over there. We don't have really any communication at all. We don't have a paper, Facebook, whatever like that. But we need a sign.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Well,
It's
the
getting
main reason I got
renovated
out in this rough weather is I wanted to make sure, I feel like I've been raising so much cane about it all these years. I ought to come up here. I kind of figured it was, but I want to
It's
make
getting
sure,
renovated.
you know. Because it'd just be great, because I drive by it, I live close to it, I can almost see it. And you drive by, there'll be 100 cars sitting there, and you don't know whether it's a wedding or what, you know, if it was a antique, something going on, I might stop and run in there. Plus, it don't necessarily have to go with that, it can tell you what's going on at the Little League Park. You know, we just need something where, when they drive by, and that's where 3 schools are, a lot of traffic. So I appreciate y'all doing what you do. I mean, you know, I wouldn't have it.
It's part of.
Make sure it's a good one, that we don't have to run out there in the rain.
Yeah.
We got,
It's
Good. All right. I'm about to age out on all this stuff, but I'm gonna keep my finger in the pie anyway. Mike knows, I've been around all longer than my kids. I've been a bane on him for a long time.
Okay, we also, we put this notice in the paper, and I think it was also on your website. We also gave the opportunity for anyone who could not attend the meeting to drop by suggestions or to mail in a suggestion. Did you receive anything?
Yeah, I did say on there that if you had anything, you could send it to the city manager. I don't forget.
Did you get anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we get anything.
So, Shipper, could you read back the suggestions?
We had the Tulip Street sewer line, possibly Gardenia, since it's all in the same vicinity. Stormwater projects. I wrote it down, even though we may not be able to do them this year, but sheet net pump station and then signage at the community center.
Okay. So the timeline is the city very quickly, probably maybe even this week, will need to determine the project. Because if it's a construction project, you'll have to hire an engineering firm to do a engineering report and the cost estimate. You'll have, if you go with the water, it'll take you a good 3 weeks to try to do the income survey outside the city limits. And city would have to pass a resolution. When do y'all meet in March? Is it,
So we meet this month.
we probably can't get it on.
We can get it this month. I don't know.
we
March.
have to meet the 17th of this month.
It will be the third Tuesday in the month of March.
And that is going to be the 17th on Tuesdays, 17th of
Okay.
March.
Okay, so, and they're due the 20th, so to pass the resolution, then on the 17th, then we'll have really good firm numbers. Resolution gives the mayor the authority to get the application, enter into a contract with the state if it's funded, and then also, it's a matching grant.
Yes, it's 80, I mean, the grant amount is 82% and the match amount is 18.
Matching's how much?
Benefit
Yeah.
that changed.
18.
18, yeah, 18.
It's 16 this year.
Okay.
So, yeah, the city would have to match it 16%.
Better than normal.
And 16%.
16.
Like, sometimes it looks like.
4%,
Was the sign, you said it's coming, is it already budgeted for, or?
They really make the community center,
Right.
so they get through it and they'll put the sign up.
It's part of the renovation.
It's all rolled into.
Okay, so we don't need to get a grant for it.
No.
No.
It's
I've been feeling
It's already part of the grant to do.
Well, she wrote it down, I'm like, that's already paid for.
I wrote it down because she told me to write off.
Well, yeah, 'cause I had to do minutes, and we want to make sure we.
I wrote it down for
Okay.
minutes. But
So within the bid that we approved and they're working on now, there's a line item for $50,000 for the signage.
All kind of wait for it.
I'll add one thing in this. A number of you have been to a number of the meetings. Water is a huge topic right now, without question. And I'm aware of Tulip Street and have been for a number of years, and there's a lot of issues with rock, which gets very, very expensive, very, very quickly. And those folks are serviced today because of when they built those homes, they had to go with the sewer. I mean, with the septic, I'm sorry. If you look at that affecting 14, 15 people versus 300, and our need to continue to work as hard as we have, and as hard as we are going to continue to work to become self-sufficient on our own water sources. I think that we need to look at the most people we can help, the least amount of money is gonna have the biggest impact. Now, that will be coming through USDA. That
Yeah,
is,
it was.
Yeah.
and that's what's the little, that's why these students do such a great job, is different grants can do different things. And understanding which source you gotta go to for which pieces is critical. And, I wanna compliment Lori and her staff. I've worked with them now for 8 years, and they have been fantastic to work with at South Central.
Help us a lot.
I mean, it's the water work that you're seeing done north of here right now.
Yep.
And I think it's critical that we continue to look at every way possible for us to be self-sufficient on our water source.
I agree.
What's the penalty on you?
Maybe.
And that's all I got to say, Lord. Phil.
I'd rather get rid of any dependence on gateway than on.
I'll reach in on that.
Issues are the problem.
Hey, Philip.
Yes, ma'am.
But they keep approving.
Oh, tossing it back to me.
You gotta have a stopping point, so that we know our water, we know we can't keep adding home.
Well, they do that too, but they're still, they're trying to make sure.
They said they're the short, did that thing, and the next minute they said, well, let's build another 100 houses.
What do you call it? Nine your home, you got
So we ready to, all right, I guess we'll close it out unless there's any other suggestions we need to write down. We have it wrote down, a couple of different thoughts. Again, I think we gotta remember this is contingent on closing out the current CDBG, which is, you're a little more optimistic than I am on that one. So,
Still be close.
right there.
but that in return, that shouldn't stop us from at least planning in case we get it closed out to find the right.
I already have the
Project.
information ready to present anyway.
Unless there's any other, close it out.
I'll make a motion, we close the meeting.
No motions.
Thank
We didn't have to show up.
Mike,